Hello, and welcome to another episode of Comics with Stevey D. This is episode 25, and it's a special episode. It's the 2x2 episode. Everything comes in twos in this one. Starting with, from Image Comics, we have Shadowhawk #1 from 1992. This was the first in a limited series that was dedicated to Jack Kirby, the great comic book artist. Shadowhawk was created by Jim Valentino. His power was he wore an exosuit that gave him superhuman abilities. The man that was inside the suit was a mystery for quite a while. Paul Johnston. He was a lawyer, a district attorney. Notice the two ears. And that brings us to our second book, Batman and Robin. One of my new 52 holographic, look at those eyes on Batman. That's a pretty cool holographic cover. Now we're going to go into some strong females in the Marvel Universe. Sue Richards, the Invisible Woman. She had the power of invisibility. She could form a force field. She could project a force field around other people. Many powers. Member of the Fantastic Four and love interest of Reed Richards. They were married. The next one, the Scarlet Witch. This is a cool cover because the heroes are just falling all around her. And it's one of the What If episodes. And her name was Wanda Maximoff. And she was the daughter of Magneto and the brother of Quicksilver. She had a mutant power of making improbable things probable. And she was very powerful. Member of the Avengers, and then later things with her father and many exciting adventures. The next two books are Wonder Man books from the Hidden Depth storyline, issue 22 and 23. Here's 22. He's in a crystal ball. And there's 23. And there's his brother we talked about before. But when you put the two books together, look at that. That is some nerdy comic book stuff. But it's still cool, right? You can make them laugh. All right. Wonder Man. The next two are Hulk. This is from a free comic book day. You have Iron Man and you have the Incredible Hulk on the same cover. It's a kind of reference and advertisement for new comics. So, Tony Stark has to fight the Hulk all the time. Has the Hulk busting armor, but the Red Hulk got him. Look at the damage it's done to him. Now, the Hulk was General Ross, okay? That's Betty Ross, Bruce Banner's love interest's father, who he didn't care much for Banner, and he hated the Hulk even 10,000 times more, but for Hulk and Banner to be involved with his daughter. So when he became the Red Hulk, he was always cruising after Iron Man. This next one's for the X-Men Wolverine kind of people. There's a gray Hulk. But if you look real close, see the green right there? So, and the highlights are in green. So it's the gray-green Hulk. Kind of cool. And there's Wolverine. And what's interesting, I have to open this one up, show you a couple panels. Remember, it's the 2x2 issue. There is Wolverine fighting Wolverine. And what's even funnier and more bizarre than that is the Hulk has to break them up. And because he doesn't want to get blamed for any damage or any fallout that happens from them guys being around. All right. In a previous episode, I talked about how I fell into comics first by books like this, Dr. Seuss books my mother had a subscription to, and I read the funny papers with my dad. Well, A Cat in a Hat. This guy, I have to show you a few pages of this guy too. All right. If you know the name of this vehicle, besides the Cat in the Hatmobile, you're pretty good. It's called the Super Luxurious Omnidirectional Whatchamajigger, or SLOW for short. And I also talk about expressions in comic, way back to my early childhood. They're happy to see him come back and clean up the mess he made. And the page before, the faces they're making shows you other kinds of expressions in the opposite direction. Now remember, it's the 2x2 episode. My son and I went on a driving trip of the South when he was a junior in high school in 2007, about the time the Civil War storyline was going on. And one of our first stops from St. Louis was Metropolis, Illinois. And they have a Superman museum there. And in the square, they have a statue of Superman. And the museum is full of all kinds of Superman memorabilia. So that was my son, and that's a younger Stevey D from way back when. Metropolis, Illinois, a couple of 3 hours out of St. Louis. Okay. Now, I've talked about this book a few times. It's the first appearance of Iron Man in a Marvel Milestone edition of Tales of Suspense, number 39. It was written by Stan Lee and his brother, and the interior artwork was done by Don Heck, and Jack Kirby designed the suit. And you see the page, the layout of the page. Now this is the last episode of Iron Man, the last issue. Okay, it's a story in itself. I could do a whole video on this one book. It's a terrific book. Notice the similarities to the Tales of Suspense. Okay. Tony Stark is aging. He's been being the Iron Man for 50 years. And he looks like this. And he's medically unfit, really, to be the Iron Man anymore. So he searches all the databases for heroes to find somebody he can trust to take over, because he's going to retire, which is what you need to do. When he has his last battle with the Crimson Dynamo, which is now called the Ultra Dynamo. There's the villain. Okay? And he is destroyed. You know, he just can't do it anymore. And then there's a reprise of him battling alcoholism, but he wins in this segment there, these panels. So at that point he realizes him and Pepper are on the beach, and they realize he can't go on being Iron Man anymore. It's killing him, literally killing him. So he finds this one guy that's an assistant engineer with him. They're working on the space elevator. And so Tony Stark trains Nick to be Iron Man, and he ultimately defeats the Dynamo. And Stark's swan song to the Earth is he invented the space elevator. And there's the Stark space elevator. And then him and Pepper are going up the escalators to it. And they ride up the space elevator, which is a great engineering feat. And they end up on the space station. And one more panel. And that is in a geosynchronicity orbit. I gotta read it, I'm saying it wrong. Geostationary. A geostationary orbit. And the space elevator is made of nanotubes. So, and the spacecraft is the one that Tony Stark and Pepper Potts can go off into the sunsets of many universes and have their adventures of Tony Stark being Tony Stark and not Iron Man, the genius, innovative inventor that he is. And with that happy ending, I'm giving all of the people out there that are watching these videos a happy ending because I'm going to stop talking. Take care.